Is there another question on the call?
I have a co-parenting question.
Sure. Where you calling from?
Allentown.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I try to have my daughter's father involved in her life. I want him to keep that communication open, but the problem is that he's not really stable, so I can't like have her go over to him. So he's like always coming down to my house because he lives in New York. And I get upset because I feel like he's infringing upon my personal space. But this seems to be the only way that he's able to spend time with his daughter. And so I'm just thinking, like, am I being a pushover by having him come in my personal space, knowing, but, there's no other way for him to, besides, being on the phone, for him to really have communication with her.
Now, okay, when he comes, how often is he staying? How long does he stay? Is he coming down for a day and he's leaving, or he's staying for the weekend? What's going on?
Like the weekend. The weekend.
Only you can decide if that is too much. It sounds like it's too much for me. But I don't know. I don't know your situation. I don't know if you have a significant other or working on having a significant other, but ain't no man going to tolerate the baby dad, staying over for a weekend just to see their kid. That ain't sounding too right. So what you may have to do is you may have to, the 2 days is a good thing, but maybe you and him can work together where he can stay at a hotel. That's an option. Maybe you have a friend or relative who wouldn't mind having him stay there. That's what I would do. If he's not too much of a risk, I would have my brother or uncle, or someone I know say, hey, you can stay over his house, but I'm not comfortable with you staying in my house anymore because we need to keep the boundaries clear and make it, make sure we know what this is not about us. It's about the child. So I would find another place for him to stay. That's what I would do. How often does he come down? Is this monthly or weekly or?
It's like, because now she's in boarding school, so she'll come down for Thanksgiving. He came for 2 days. She's coming home for Christmas. He'll be down for, another 2 days. The thing about it is that, yes, like you said, I don't have a significant other right now, and I kind of wonder, well, what would happen? How would he work around this if I did have a significant other? So I think in that respect, he, is comfortable in saying, well, I know she ain't got nobody, so I can go down here.
Well, here's the thing.
But I always wonder about.
You have to set the boundaries. He ain't setting them. You're going to have to set the boundaries. So it's all going to come down to you. If it was me, I would find someone else he could stay with. A friend or relative who he could stay with. That's what I would do. The other thing too, you got Airbnb, you got hotels, you got motels, you got rooms you can rent. You can even look in the newspaper, go online, Craigslist. There's always people renting rooms, $50 a night. You can have an arrangement where you just pay them or he pays them or y'all go half on that $100 bill for those 2 nights. But there's a lot of creative things that can be done to avoid him from sleeping in your house 2 nights a week.
Right. He's really limited on funds. I don't get child support, but
Right.
I don't let that be a deterrent.
Yeah.
And having a relationship with her.
Yeah, and I applaud you for that. But even with the limited funds, okay, we don't want to disrupt his relationship with his daughter, no matter what. We want the 2 days to continue. And I want to emphasize that. Okay. At the same time, you got to decide how far you're willing to go to accommodate the situation. If it was me and he's, I would split it with him. I would say, listen, well, first of all, if you can afford the whole thing, pay the whole thing, in terms of, hotel and lodging. But I really think you can find someone he can stay with. I really think you can find someone else, that he can stay with. So you got to make sure that, you ain't necessarily wanting them in that house too, because you can find someone else for him to stay with for them 2 nights, because it ain't that he ain't staying for months or anything like that. Renting a room, people are always renting rooms. So, if you want him out the house, I don't think it takes much to set that up.
Okay.
You feel me? But you got to know yourself, though. You gotta, are you done with him? Is the question.
No, there's nothing funny going on there. Trust me.
I
Half
got
of
you.
the time when he comes, I go out of the house. I find something else to do. Like don't want to argue with him in front of her because that has happened a couple of times. And I told him that's why I don't want you in my personal space because I don't want to argue like that in front of her. I end up apologizing to her. I try to curb my behavior, but I feel like why am I curbing my behavior in my personal space? And that's where and so it's like a real funny situation. He even has another daughter in Jamaica who came down to stay with us for Christmas. And I wanted, my daughter to know her sister and develop that bond, that relationship. So I think I do a lot of things to go above and beyond so that, I can do things differently than how I was brought up.
Right.
But at the same time, I feel like my personal well-being is put at risk because he is unable to provide and do for himself, and therefore it leaves me accommodating.
I follow you. Yeah, I think it's time for you to to professionalize the situation. I think it's time for you to professionalize the situation, come up with some rooming options for him that does not include your home, and then determine how far you're able to meet him financially so that can take place.
Yeah, me meeting him financially is not going to happen.
Okay,
that can happen.
Well, the other thing too is your daughter goes up. The other thing too, and I don't know, if he has family where he lives, but she may have to go and visit him as opposed to him coming down to visit her, or maybe that can alternate. That's another way to reduce the amount of time that he spends in your home.
He doesn't have that support. I mean, he's been in a position where he's been living in a room like in New York, and there's been times that I've sent her up there, and I'm like, you guys kind of figure it out. You know what I mean? But she's older now. She's in high school, and that's just not going to work for her.
Well, here's the other thing. Because she's in high school, she's not a young child. Because she's in high school, I don't really see why he got to be in your house at all. She's in high school. She's at a boarding school. Okay. And most boarding schools have a place where parents can stay, for a day or two. So if he has to, stay at the boarding school, I know they got an extra cottage, an extra room, a parent suite, that's what we had at Scotland. We had a cottage where the parents could come and stay for a weekend, whatever the case may be. So I'm sure that they could accommodate him in some way. If you say, listen, I want to see my daughter, they might not accommodate him every week, but I'm sure they would accommodate him at least once a month or twice a month. So, again, I just think there's a lot of options outside of him coming to your home.
Okay, I'll look into that with the school, how he can set that up for himself.
Right. So
thank you.
Good luck with that, sis. Good luck with that.
All right, thank you.
All right. And y'all need to cut it out in Facebook world. She wasn't trying to give him no cookies, okay? She wasn't looking for no milk with her cookies, all right? She was just looking out for the baby girl. So good stuff today, good stuff. We'll be back again next Tuesday. Again, I need y'all to keep your eyes peeled for school properties out there that Dr. Umar can go and visit and check out. All right. And looking forward to the Kwanzaa tour this year. Another year almost done. Only got a few more weeks. We need to make some good New Year's resolutions, Black family, some good New Year's resolutions. So this is the Prince of Pan-Africanism. I'm signing out. Everybody have a blessed week. One love.